What if I told you that the very first sign your body is officially growing older has absolutely nothing to do with the silver strands popping up in your hair, the fine lines creeping around your eyes, or even how fast you can catch a drop set of keys? Instead, the real indicator of aging is happening right now, completely out of sight, deep within your legs. Most of us go about our days completely oblivious to it, but a subtle loss of strength in your lower body is often the absolute earliest warning signal that your body is beginning to lose its foundation, its circulation, and its natural balance. For adults moving past the age of 60, this quiet underlying shift is doing a lot more than just making you feel a bit more tired. It is actively and silently escalating the risk of unexpected falls, stripping away daily mobility, and slowly chipping away at long-term independence. After spending decades working hand in hand with older adults, I have watched this exact same pattern play out more times than I can count. The physical decline that changes someone's life rarely ever begins with a massive, dramatic medical emergency. No, it starts much more quietly than that. It sneaks into your life in the smallest, most mundane ways imaginable. It shows up when you notice it takes just a little bit more effort to push yourself up from your favorite living room chair. It happens when your legs feel surprisingly heavy and worn out after a completely normal short walk down the street. It is that instinctual moment where you find your hand reaching out to grip the handrail tightly just to step down a flight of stairs. But here is the incredibly hopeful side of the story that nobody talks about enough. This downward spiral is not some inevitable, unchangeable law of nature. In so many cases, this exact muscle loss can be radically slowed down, halted, or even completely turned around if you start using the right daily movements. Today, I want to take you through 5 incredibly straightforward, highly effective exercises specifically engineered to rebuild your leg strength, fire up your circulation, and lock in your personal independence for decades to come. Before we dive into the actual movements, if you have not had a chance to join our community yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell so you never have to miss another practical health guide tailored exactly for your life. And as we move through these, if you find this information helpful, let me know by typing a number 1 down in the comments section, or type a 0 if you think we can make things even better for you. Let us kick things off with our very first movement, which is the sit-to-stand exercise. This single movement is all about reclaiming the power your legs are quietly losing every single day. The vast majority of people over 60 truly have no idea their legs are losing ground until one completely normal moment catches them totally off guard. It might be that specific afternoon when you go to get up from a deep, comfortable recliner and realize you cannot just stand up smoothly anymore. You have to rock back and forth a few times to build up momentum. Or maybe it is the moment you find yourself placing both hands firmly on the armrests, using every bit of upper body strength you have to push yourself upright because your thighs simply did not do the work on their own. In the grand scheme of things, these moments feel tiny and easy to ignore. But in the medical world, these are major red flags signaling that the massive muscle groups in your thighs and your hips are starting to waste away, a natural biological process known as age-related muscle loss. Luckily, one of the absolute best weapons to fight back against this decline is a movement you already perform dozens of times a day, which is simply standing up out of a chair. The sit-to-stand exercise might look incredibly basic on the surface, but it acts as a direct powerhouse workout for your quadriceps, your glutes, and your core muscles. These are the exact muscle groups that dictate almost every single physical activity you rely on to live a free life. They are what allow you to walk through a crowded grocery store without getting exhausted, climb the stairs in your home without fear, or comfortably get out of a cramped car seat after a long drive. As you build strength in these specific zones, your overall balance automatically gets a massive upgrade. Your lower body circulation gets a boost, and you instantly take a tremendous amount of structural stress off your aching knees and lower back. To do this the right way, you need to find a solid, sturdy chair. Stay away from the soft, deep living room couch for this one, and opt for something firm like a standard wooden dining room chair. Sit yourself down right near the front edge of the seat, planting both of your feet completely flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart. Check your posture to make sure your knees are bent at roughly a clean 90-degree angle, and sit your spine up tall and proud rather than slumping backward into the chair frame. Right before you initiate the movement, lean your upper torso just slightly forward from the hips. This tiny shift in your center of gravity is crucial because it instantly activates the dormant muscles in your thighs and buttocks. From there, press your feet firmly and evenly into the ground and slowly drive your body all the way up into a full standing position. Keep all your mental focus on making your legs do the heavy lifting rather than relying on your arms to haul you upward. Once you are standing completely upright, take a brief pause for a second to feel your body weight perfectly balanced across both feet. Now comes the part most people rush through, but it is actually the most important step. Slowly lower yourself back down toward the seat with total, deliberate control. Do not just let gravity take over and drop your weight heavily onto the chair. That slow, controlled lowering phase is what physical therapists call eccentric training, and it is the single best way to build up the stabilizing strength right around your knee joints. For most older adults, starting out with 8 clean repetitions is a fantastic, safe baseline. Try to complete 2 full sets of 8, taking a short break to catch your breath between them. If this feels incredibly tough when you first try it, please do not get discouraged. It is completely fine to place your hands lightly on the chair arms or your thighs to give yourself a little extra assistance. Over the course of a few weeks, as those leg muscles wake up and regain their tone, try to challenge yourself to complete the entire movement without using your hands at all. Committing to this practice just once or twice every single day can completely rewrite the script on your leg strength. I hear the exact same feedback from my older patients all the time after they stay consistent with this for just a few short weeks. They tell me that suddenly the ordinary moments of daily life start feeling effortless again. Standing up feels completely fluid. Walking down the street feels steady and confident, and their legs feel anchored to the earth. But building up muscle strength is really only half of the equation here, because the muscles located even further down your legs are responsible for an entirely different, incredibly vital job, which is keeping your blood circulating effectively all the way back up to your heart. What happens when those lower leg muscles go quiet might honestly shock you. If you are still right here with me and finding these tips valuable, please type a number 1 in the comments right now to let me know you are tuned in. Now let us transition seamlessly into our second major movement, which is the calf pump, a true lifesaver for activating what doctors call the second heart in your legs. There is a specific cluster of muscles down in your lower legs that almost nobody ever gives a second thought to until major circulation issues start rearing their ugly heads. Maybe you notice that by 5 o'clock in the evening, your ankles look puffy and swollen. Maybe your legs feel incredibly heavy, tight, and achy after you have been sitting down reading or watching television for an hour or two. Some people even notice that their feet constantly feel ice cold, even when the house is perfectly warm. These circulation shifts become incredibly common once we cross over the age of 60, and the driving force behind it is usually the fact that our calf muscles are simply not contracting enough throughout the day to keep our blood moving. Medical professionals frequently call the calf muscles the body's second heart, and that is not just a catchy metaphor. It is literal biology. Your main heart is incredibly powerful, but it is designed to pump oxygen-rich blood out to the extremities through your arteries. Your veins, however, have the grueling task of pushing that blood all the way back up against the unrelenting force of gravity from your toes to your chest. Your veins do not get a direct pump from the heart to do this. Instead, they rely almost entirely on the physical squeezing action of your calf muscles. Every single time you take a step, climb up a curb, or lift up onto your tiptoes, those calf muscles contract tightly, physically squeezing the deep veins in your lower legs and forcing that blood to travel upward through one-way valves. When those muscles lose their strength or spend hours completely inactive because we are sitting still, your blood flow pools down in your lower extremities. That pooling is precisely where the swelling, the deep fatigue, and the chronic discomfort originate. A beautifully simple movement called the calf pump can completely jumpstart this built-in circulation system, and it is hands down one of the safest, most accessible exercises an older adult can do right in the comfort of their own home. To set up for the calf pump, stand up straight right behind a heavy chair, a sturdy table, or your kitchen counter, so you can place your fingertips down lightly for perfect balance. Set your feet about hip-width apart with your toes pointing straight out ahead of you. Keeping your core locked in, slowly lift your heels completely off the ground so that all your body weight shifts onto the wide balls of your feet. Resist any urge to rush through this. Rise up smoothly and high enough that you can feel a distinct, tight contraction running through the back of your lower legs. Hold yourself at the very peak of that movement for a solid 2 seconds, and then slowly and gently guide your heels back down until they touch the floor. The real secret to making this exercise work wonders is absolute, total control. Never bounce up and down rapidly or let your heels slam back into the floor. You want the entire motion of lifting up and lowering down to take about 3 to 4 seconds of steady, conscious effort. This tempo ensures that you are fully engaging the deep muscle fibers while giving those veins a strong, sustained pump to clear out stagnant fluid. If you are just starting out, aiming for 10 repetitions across 2 separate sets is a perfect place to begin. As your lower legs adjust over a few days, you can easily scale that up to 15 repetitions per set. A great trick to make sure you actually do this every day is to pair it with a daily habit, like practicing your calf pumps while you wait for your morning coffee to brew, or while you are standing at the counter prepping dinner. As the weeks roll by, this tiny routine pays massive dividends. Your legs will start to feel incredibly light, that annoying evening swelling will start to vanish, and your walking stamina will skyrocket. But boosting your lower body circulation does not always require you to be standing on your feet. In fact, one of the most potent ways to get blood flowing vigorously through your entire lower half can be done while you are completely seated in your favorite chair, and it might just be the easiest, most comfortable routine you add to your day. This brings us right to our third movement, which is the seated march, a brilliantly simple exercise that wakes up your entire circulatory system. Sometimes, the absolute worst enemy of our leg strength and longevity is not the natural process of aging at all. It is the silent habit of sitting down for hours on end without even realizing how much time has passed. In our modern world, older adults naturally tend to spend a lot more time in a seated position than they used to. Whether it is staying glued to the couch for the nightly news broadcast, getting lost in a good book for hours, driving long distances to visit family, or just unwinding after a heavy dinner, the hours add up fast. But here is the critical piece of data most people completely overlook. When your legs remain totally stationary for extended blocks of time, your blood velocity plummets, your deep hip muscles go completely dormant, and the intricate network of nerves that communicate with your brain to maintain your balance start to lose their sharp responsiveness. Over a long period, this lack of movement leaves you with incredibly stiff hips, chronically fatigued legs, and that frustrating feeling that your lower body is suddenly slow to respond when you need to move quickly. One of the absolute easiest ways to break this cycle is the seated march. Now, it might sound almost too simple to actually do anything meaningful, but please do not underestimate the profound impact this movement has on your blood flow and muscle firing patterns. When you perform it with proper form, it gently forces your hip flexors, your deep thigh muscles, and your lower core muscles to fire up, which are the exact areas that dictate your stride length and your stability when you are out walking. To get started, sit up perfectly straight and tall in a firm chair, making sure you are not slumping your lower back against the cushions. Position yourself right toward the front half of the seat, gluing both feet flat to the floor with your knees bent at a crisp 90-degree angle. Keep your spine long, but keep your shoulders relaxed, letting your hands rest easily on your thighs or gripping the sides of the chair seat for anchor support. From this base, slowly lift one knee straight up toward the ceiling, bringing it up toward your chest. You do not need to make this an extreme, exaggerated movement. Even lifting your foot just a few inches off the rug is more than enough to completely activate the necessary muscles. Hold that knee at the peak of the lift for 1 clear second and then gently and quietly lower the foot back down to its starting spot. The absolute moment that foot touches the floor, repeat the exact same motion with your other leg, driving that knee upward toward your chest. Keep alternating back and forth between your left and right leg in a slow, steady, rhythmic cadence, exactly like you are performing a slow motion march while staying perfectly seated. Remember, speed is your enemy here. Consistency and control are your best friends. You want to lift and lower each leg with enough deliberate slowness that your muscles are forced to stay turned on through the entire arc of motion. If your breathing stays perfectly calm and deep and your upper body remains totally still, your form is absolutely spot on. For beginners, a great goal is to perform this seated march continuously for 30 seconds straight. Take a brief moment to rest and then repeat that 30-second block 2 more times. As your endurance builds, you can easily scale this up to 1 minute or even 2 minutes of non-stop marching. This specific exercise is an absolute game changer for anyone who finds themselves sitting for big portions of the day, because it keeps blood actively circulating through the pelvic bowl and legs, prevents hip joint adaptation, and keeps the nervous system deeply connected to the lower limbs. A lot of my patients love to knock this out during commercial breaks of their favorite TV shows or while they are waiting for the kitchen kettle to whistle. What blows people away is how a movement this low impact can gradually make their entire lower body feel awake, warm, and highly responsive. But while fixing your circulation and joint mobility is a massive win, there is another critical physical skill that your legs depend on more and more as each year passes by, and that is your absolute ability to lock in your balance when your physical environment throws you an unexpected curveball. Our next exercise is specifically designed to train that exact skill in a way that could literally save you from a catastrophic fall down the road. If you are still watching this video and finding these insights genuinely helpful for your life, please drop a number 1 in the comments section below to let me know you are sticking with me. Let us keep this momentum going right into point number 4. This brings us to the heel-to-toe balance walk, an incredible tool for training the deep, protective stability that prevents life-altering falls. A shocking percentage of accidental falls in the older population do not actually happen because someone's legs completely gave out from sheer weakness. Instead, they happen because the body has slowly lost its subconscious ability to stabilize its center of gravity during quick, unexpected shifts in motion. Think about those everyday moments we all face, like stepping off a hidden curb in a parking lot, walking across a patch of uneven grass in the yard, or turning around rapidly in the kitchen because a pot is boiling over. These exact scenarios demand that the microscopic stabilizing muscles hidden deep within your feet, your ankles, and your hips react with lightning-fast precision. As the decades roll on, those tiny stabilizer muscles and the complex neurological pathways that coordinate them naturally begin to drift to sleep, which is the precise reason why balance starts to feel shaky and untrustworthy for so many people over 60. One of the absolute most powerful ways to wake this entire neurological system back up is a simple training drill known as the heel-to-toe balance walk. This is a staple exercise used by top-tier physical therapists everywhere because it builds tremendous strength in the lower leg structure while simultaneously teaching the brain how to maintain perfect control as weight shifts dynamically from one foot to the other. To perform this safely at home, find a clear hallway or a long open stretch of wall space in your living room. You want to make sure you are standing right next to a wall, a long kitchen countertop, or a heavy piece of furniture so that you always have a solid surface nearby to touch if you feel a sudden wobble. Start out by standing completely upright with your feet pressed together and your shoulders pulled back and relaxed. Now, carefully take a step forward with one foot, placing it directly in a straight line ahead of the other so that the heel of your leading foot gently brushes right against the tips of the toes on your back foot. This is the exact same tandem gait pattern you see people use when walking a straight line. But here, the goal is purely about hyper-focusing your coordination and stabilizing your joints. Once that front foot is locked and planted, slowly shift your body weight forward onto it, lift your back foot up, swing it around, and place its heel directly in front of the toes of your other foot. Move through this with complete, unhurried deliberation. This is not a race. Total control is the metric of success. Each step you take should feel deeply anchored, steady, and balanced. Try your absolute best to keep your gaze fixed straight ahead on the wall across the room, rather than staring straight down at your feet, because